We're rolling into week 7 with 6 teams on bye with a lot of running backs injured, and you're looking for a player to stash. We're talking about stash plays every day, every week, helping you out to find a lottery ticket. You want a player there that could go to the moon, but could also go to zero because you're trying to get that splash play at the end of the season that could really help you get over the hump into the fantasy playoffs and into your championship game. One player that we've been talking about a lot is Keaton Mitchell, running back of the Baltimore Ravens. We've been talking about him every week, and I'm giving another update to see whether or not you need him for fantasy football. But what you need to do right now is click that subscribe button. Tap it with your finger on your phone. Click it with your mouse. Stop missing out on these deep dives as we're looking at the waiver wire extensively every single day. We're helping you set your lineups. We're helping you get those trades done and everything else. Click that button. Stop missing out. But let's go back to Keaton Mitchell. Let's take a look at him because he did not see a snap in his debut last week. A lot of people have questions and concerns about that. But you have to remember the process. You have to remember he's a lottery ticket running back because there's not many lottery ticket running backs right now who have upside like he does, who's in a situation like he is in where the running backs on the depth chart aren't really going off, and this team likes him. They signed him to a 3-year deal. He just came off injured reserve. He is just now getting back in the swing of things. There's going to be a ramp-up period. If you can't handle the ramp-up period and you can't handle that this is a lottery ticket that could go to zero, honestly, it may not be for you. But if you want to swing for the fences on a running back, this might be your guy because looking at what the Ravens did last week, they could barely run the football. Gus Edwards, 2.6 yards per carry. Justice Hill, 8 carries, 35 yards. Still 4.4 yards per carry, but still Lamar Jackson getting it done in the rushing department for the team. But this team's not running the football with the running backs. They're not getting the job done. Eventually, they're going to have to figure things out and switch some stuff up, which means Keaton Mitchell is going to have to start seeing some opportunities. And also, you do not want him to take his first touches against a tough Titans defense coming straight off the IR and get 3 yards per carry and make the coaching staff wonder. You do not want him to get touches in this game. You don't want him to get touches in this matchup. We talk about this every single week as the Titans are a pass funnel. Teams pass on the Titans because they're stout against the run and you can throw it on them. That's why we saw Lamar Jackson toss it for 30 times in this game because they're nasty against the run. You do not want him to take his first few carries against a team like this and make the coaching staff wonder about their investment. This was great that he did not take a snap. He's ramping up. He's getting back into the flow. You got to understand there's a ramp-up period for some of these players that come back from IR, especially younger players. Veterans, they're in the system. They know how things go. They have a feel of the game already. He's an undrafted free agent who worked his way up the depth chart over the summer. Really impressed everybody out there. Looked good. Had that big run in preseason. Looked that up. Looked that highlight up because he went off in preseason. Looked good. Looked very explosive. And that's because he is explosive. 4.37 speed. He is going to bring a different dynamic once he sees the open field. If he sees the open field on a couple carries, he's going to steal this job because look at what these running backs are doing. It's not much. He's a lottery ticket running back. He's on the back of this depth chart, but he's going to eventually start seeing touches because he's going to see a couple here and there. He's going to see a handful, and then if he breaks one loose, you got yourself another Devin Achane situation. Maybe not to that extent, but look at the burst score. Look at the 40-yard dash time. Look at the running back landscape in the league right now. Look how ugly it is right now with bye weeks there. Why not have a stash play? Why not have a lottery ticket? Everybody should have one lottery ticket, and usually should be at the running back position because that position turns and burns so much, and wide receivers sitting on the back end of rosters don't usually hit and go nuclear unless they're like top tier prospects coming out of college and just now starting to get their opportunity. But a guy like this, If he gets thrusted into the starting role, say we get some injuries on the Ravens, could pop off for you. And if not, he could be a guy that coming off waivers after something happens to this depth chart could be a guy that just increases value so much that you can trade him for something else, because there's a lot of people interested in Keaton Mitchell. Looking at his production from East Carolina, 1,400 yards last year, 1,100 year prior, scoring touchdowns, getting you yards after contact per attempt, 3.6 last year. Studley, looking good, 3.2 the year before, forcing missed tackles. Solid running back prospect here from the G5 level. Looking at the running back depth chart, we're not getting much done here. Gus Edwards is averaging 3.9 yards per carry on the season. Justice Hill, 4.1. We're not getting it done. JK Dobbins out for the year, really starting to scramble. And then the running backs really not hitting their upside. Justice Hill has some pop in the step, but nothing close to what Keaton Mitchell brings. We had Kenyon Drake and Melvin Gordon hanging out there for a little bit, but this team wants to run the football. They run it 34 times a game, a lot of times with Lamar Jackson, but they identify as a team that runs the football. And if they had some speed in that backfield to combine with Lamar Jackson, that could be an ugly backfield to try to defend, because those linebackers have to make a business decision. This team's also in a lot of ugly game scripts due to their division and also due to their defense being locked down. So this team is a slower paced team, runs a lot of clock because they also run the ball a fair bit. But if he can go nuclear, if he can house a couple runs, he's going to steal the show. Looking at the schedule here, again, we do have some upside games here. We got Detroit, we got Seattle, we got the Rams, we got the Chargers. We do have some upside scenarios here where they could push the pace a little bit, or the pace could be pushed onto them to where they need to move the ball a little bit faster. That's something where we can get excited about. And then you need him because he is a lottery ticket with upside. You need a lottery ticket. We are getting less and less of those as we get deeper into the season, and we're getting a lot more bye weeks, a lot more running backs hurt. This Rams backfield's not looking good. However, you don't need him. You can't fit him. You don't want to wait, because there is going to be a ramp-up period. It may not be this week. It may not be next week. It could be like week 10, 11, 12 before we start seeing something out of them. You may not have that type of time. You may not have the roster size for that. Basic leagues, it's going to be hard to do that in, but it could be any time from now to the end of the season or next year. But he's going to get some looks, and that's what we're gambling on. You're gambling here. You're gambling here with a player with immense upside in a situation where they want to run the football, and in a situation where the guys in front of them are currently not getting it done, which means if they're smart, they're going to be trying some stuff out. And Keaton Mitchell's the guy you want to try stuff out with, and they've indicated that because they signed him to a 3-year deal. They moved him up the depth chart very fast this offseason. Guy has a lot of pop in his step. If you're looking for a lottery ticket, this is your guy. If you can't handle a lottery ticket, this is not your guy. And I'm being honest with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below when you hear about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Catch you on the next video.